What it do? Welcome to the J-Boy Sports Podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. If you don't love the content, you can still do those things because you can help a brother out. And there's nothing wrong with helping a brother out, especially if that brother and myself would definitely help you out. Make sure that you hit the notifications bell so you don't miss any of our great content. Make sure you comment so we can have conversations and debates in the comment section because ball is life. And lastly, make sure you hang on towards the end of this video so that you can catch some of our other suggested videos that we know you will love. Jumping right into this, head first, barely putting my hands out in front of me till the last minute to dive into the water. LeBron James on ring culture wants credit for losing. This guy has done it again. And I'm going to tell you, man, I really try to not consistently talk about this dude or really even bash him, to be honest with you. But so many things he does and says just end up being on my channel. And it's just not possible the way he floods the media. He floods it, and then all his people flood the media. And I mean, what are you going to do? When he says something crazy like this, you have to address it because so many people in basketball listen to this guy, and this stuff is just wrong, man. So he recently on his Mind the Game podcast is having another conversation with Steve Nash. I'm not sure if Luka Doncic is in the background of this one, but they're having this conversation, and he's talking about ring culture. And then he starts to go on this soliloquy of nonsense in which he's trying to downplay the idea of ring culture, to call it like he basically thinks it's some type of like toxic disease that messes up the game. The first person ever that's been an all-time great that has complained about the pursuit of winning rings. The pursuit of winning rings is now toxic, all because LeBron James says so. And I hope you're not slow enough to not realize that the reason that he's saying this is because he can't win more rings than people like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's tied with Steph, but even Steph, in my opinion, won more without doing all the nonsense than LeBron did. Steph did some nonsense, don't get it twisted, but nowhere near, in my opinion, as much as LeBron did. But that's not good enough for him. People like Shaq, Tim Duncan, who got 4 and 5 rings. He has a problem with us looking at these people as the pinnacle of basketball. Why would you not? Why would you not look at Tom Brady like he's on another level? He has 7 rings in football where people barely go to the Super Bowl more than once or twice in their life. You got young and up-and-comers like Pat Mahomes and Jalen Hurts who have been to multiple Super Bowls, but they're the only 2 that are currently playing. Besides, I think, has Aaron Rodgers even been to multiple Super Bowls? I don't remember. Russell Wilson has. That's one other guy. Most of them have not. Most people don't even get to the finals. So you got to give them some credit for even getting there, the finals and the Super Bowl. But still, unless you're winning, you don't get that same love. Let's listen to what he had to say so I can come back and critique this.
It's funny, I don't know. I don't know why it's discussed so much in our sport and why it's the A-all, B-all of everything. You sit here and tell me, you know, Allen Iverson and Charles Barkley and Steve Nash, you know, our wasn't unbelievable. Like, oh, they can't be talked about or discussed with these guys is because this guy won 1 ring or won 2 rings or won, like, it's just weird to me. It's like saying Peyton Manning can't be in the same room with Brady or Mahomes because he only has 1 ring. They don't never discuss that in their sport.
Right.
Or telling me that Dan Marino is not the greatest slinger of all time, or he can't be in the room with those guys because he didn't win a championship. They don't discuss those things, you know. I don't know. I don't know. Did Barry Bonds win a World Series? I don't think so. I don't think so. Barry Bonds never won a World Series, and you can't sit here and tell me that he's not the greatest baseball player to ever touch a bat. I mean, Jerry West, I think, went to like 9 straight NBA finals.
Right.
And,
The logo.
and was only able to win 1. Right. And he's the logo of our league.
Yeah.
So you can't sit here and tell me that, okay, well, because he only won 1, the guy can't be in the same room with the guy who won 2 or 3 or 4. Like, why not? This guy, he's our logo.
All right, so that's LeBron James, and then you hear Steve Nash in the background, ha-haing and kikiing, just chucking and jiving in the background. Steve Nash really disappoints me, man. Just really, really disappoints me. Like, he just, I don't even know how to explain what he's on. And I'm gonna leave it there for that. I'm gonna leave it there. But let's just take a look at some of the things LeBron said. He said, "Oh, well, like Allen Iverson and Charles Barkley weren't great." Who said Allen Iverson and Charles Barkley were not great? Who said that? First of all, LeBron, you don't even like Charles Barkley. You don't even like him because he don't got you high on his list. He got a lot of the other all-time greats over you because of you saying stuff like this, mind you. Right? So you don't even like him. You do like Allen Iverson, but Allen Iverson even said, listen, Kobe is a different animal. Mike is a different animal. In part because of their rings. Charles Barkley has admitted, listen, I'm great, but yeah, Michael's at a different table than me. Why is it so hard? And see, what you guys have to realize is this man is a narcissist. You understand? He's a narcissist. People that are obsessed with themselves cannot be fair and look at other people and admit when maybe they had the advantage. Or maybe they need to be highlighted for something. He can't do it. I have videos on my page that say he wasn't at Kobe Bryant's memorial. Some people gave me flack for that, didn't like what I had to say, but he wasn't at Kobe's statue thing, and he's in Los Angeles. Why was every other Laker great available for at least some of those things? And he wasn't. It's the narcissism. He cannot give credit to those other people. I never heard Allen Iverson say, listen, ring culture is whack. What? He was chasing rings. They were all, when you're the greatest players of all time, you should be going for the rings. That's what you play the game for. Charles Barkley admitted, listen, I don't got the hardware. And when Shaq starts talking about it, he can't say nothing about that, so he makes jokes about other things, which, yeah, you could do. But that doesn't mean Charles is not respected. He did the best he could, and he just came up short. And in his case, ran into Michael Jordan. A lot of people ran into Michael Jordan. Patrick Ewing, Reggie Miller, John Stockton, and Karl Malone. What do? You tip your hat off to him and say he got me. But you don't go back and turn around, be a narcissist, and diss all ring culture. Because you can't win as many as somebody else. Even though in LeBron's case, you've been cheating since you left the Cavaliers the first time. You've been cheating, manipulating the game, trying to move this guy and that guy. Why you do all that if rings didn't matter? If rings didn't matter, you should have stayed in Cleveland. They do matter though, right? When you won in 2016, I was just listening to a live from Dreamers Pro. Why did you say, oh, that ring made me the greatest of all time? But I thought rings didn't matter, my guy. I thought rings didn't matter. So they do matter. But when you realize that, dang it, they're not saying I'm better than Mike. They're not saying I'm better than Kareem. They're not saying I'm better than Kobe. They're not saying, some people are starting to say, hey, was he better than Shaq? Was he better than Tim Duncan? Was he better than Magic? Some might even say, well, dang, man, was he really better than Larry Bird? So when you hear those whispers and people say, oh, that's longevity, I don't know if he's better than him. All of a sudden, what's up with ring culture? Why are we doing ring culture? Why can't this guy be in this room? What? Why? Because there's levels to this, man. The richest person in your town cannot sit at the same table as Elon Musk when it comes to money. The richest man in the world, whether you love him or you hate him. That's a different table right there. My man has more money than some countries, him and Jeff Bezos and guys like that. It is what it is. You're going to sit here and cry and complain the whole time? Or are you going to go out and try to get your own money? Or are you going to complain about their money? They're on a different level. Most of us will never see that level. No human being that's ever lived has seen the level of these guys financially. Now, if money's your God and that drives you, that'll drive you nuts. But at what point can you be content and say, you know what? They got this. And that's what LeBron James can't do because he's a narcissist. So he starts bringing all this other stuff into it. He mentioned Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds is my favorite baseball player of all time. He's my favorite baseball player of all time. Let's see. Does he have a ring? Did Barry Bonds ever win a World Series? No, he didn't. He played in the 2002 World Series, but he did not win. So, Barry didn't get it. But I've never heard Barry go on a campaign saying, listen, people that win the World Series, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, what are we doing here, man? He mentioned Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. Peyton Manning is a monster. He was a monster. Eli, on a lesser note, funny enough, Eli beat Tom Brady twice in the Super Bowl. And Peyton had all this trouble beating Tom Brady. But still, at the end of the day, when you look at it, you look at the ring counts, you look at how much they've been doing it, it's got to be Tom. And no, as great as Peyton Manning is, he's not on that level. Because winning matters. Now, if you want to stay statistically, yes, Barry Bonds. Yes, Allen Iverson. Yes, Charles Barkley. But when you talk about greatest, best, you got to factor in winning. Because if you don't, what are you playing for? Statistics? Well, then Kobe should have went back and scored 120. I'm sure he could have got close the way he was balling at times. If it was just about getting the most points, Kobe should have been striving for 150 every night. Because then once you get the most points, it doesn't matter no more. You're number one. Mike should have did the same thing. Peyton Manning should have threw 75 touchdowns in a season and not worried about winning, just about getting as many touchdowns as he could so he could match Tom Brady. That's not how it works, man. You play to win the game. He mentioned Jerry West. Jerry West is a Laker great. Love Jerry West. R.I.P. Jerry West. Losing Kobe, losing Jerry, hurtful if you're a Laker fan. Painful. But I never once heard Jerry West complain that, guys like Michael Jordan and Kobe aren't they're not all that. I can be on their level, even though I was 1-9. There's levels to this. There's standards, man. You have to uphold the standards. And the only reason LeBron James is no longer trying to do that, and the only reason he created this podcast, is to try and dull your senses, to lower the standard so you will put him number one. That's the only reason that he cares. He's done all this work to manipulate the game, to change teams, to change players, get everybody traded, create super teams, get AD, get rid of AD for Luka Doncic, try to get other new players on his team. All this stuff. And rings don't matter? He's lying to you guys, man. You gotta believe and understand that he's lying. And it's sad because there's a lot of kids that'll see that and hear that, and they're going to be confused. They're not going to understand. Well, I guess maybe winning doesn't matter. No, it matters. You play to win. Whatever game you enter into, the point is to win that game. You want to be a winner. You want to be known as a winner. And even if you lose, you want to do your best doing it. You'll still get respect. We still respect Charles Barkley. We still respect Allen Iverson. We still respect Patrick Ewing. I still have a lot of respect for Russell Westbrook. Right? One of my favorite players is Baron Davis. He never came near no ring. Derrick Rose. Everybody I know loves Derrick Rose. I never met a person that didn't love Derrick Rose. Not one person. If you don't love Derrick Rose, there's a different type of hate in your heart. The man's never said or done anything that would make anybody dislike him. And the way his career didn't turn out the way it should have is nothing short of one of the saddest tragedies in the history of mankind. But he's still alive, so at least we have that. He's still blessing us with his charm and his good nature. But nobody looks at Derrick Rose, he's not good now. Come on, man. Come on, man. We got to stop this. So that's this, like, don't let this guy fool you, man. Don't let him fool you. It matters. The point is to win. That's the standard. The standard is to win rings, as many as you can, back to back. Then do it again, then do it again, then do it again. Every year you play is for that. It's not to amass your stats. There's some cool moments in the regular season. There's some cool moments in the preseason sometimes. And yeah, we love to hear the great stories. But the greatest of the great stories are when you win the rings. What did it take? What did you invest into it? What type of time? What type of energy? What type of sacrifices did it take you to win that? If LeBron James had won 9 championships, he'd never shut up about it and you never hear the end of it. But because Kobe got 5 and Mike got 6 and Kareem got 6 and Magic got 5 and Tim Duncan got 5 and Curry has 4 like him and Shaq has 4 like him. And he had to use super teams to get his 4. And a COVID bubble. Because of those things, he's got to tell you, listen, I'm better than those guys. Don't look at the rings. Don't look at my 4-6 record in the finals. Don't look at my 22-33 overall record in the finals. Don't look at the fact that I'm like minus 86 in the finals. Don't look at the fact that Denver Nuggets beat me 8-1 in 2-year span with Joker. Don't look at I just had a gentleman's sweep against the T-Wolves and Rudy Gobert turned into Rudy Hakeem O'Neal Jabbar Gobert on me because we took out the center and I played center and I could play 1 through 5, but I got my butt kicked. So I thought I could play 1 through 5. Don't look at none of that. I'm just as good as Kobe Bryant, who stayed on one team, and Mike, who stayed on one team for the most of his career, and Tim Duncan, who stayed on one team. I'm just as good as them. I just lost a lot more. Please don't fall for this narcissism. It's all narcissism. He just cannot accept the fact that people don't see him as the greatest of all time. He just cannot accept the fact that a lot of people don't respect the route that he's taken, the way he's treated people on the way there, adding your son onto a team that nobody asked for him to be on. Manipulating the draft, manipulating teams, manipulating the media, the entire NBA, sitting out of all-star games, almost getting kicked off the Olympic team. And I'm sorry, enough of y'all didn't watch that video. More of you should have watched that one. I'm surprised I didn't get more hits on that. But that's crazy. Your attitude. His attitude has always been a problem. He's always been surrounded by enablers. So at a certain point, you got to just tell him to be quiet. Nobody cares, LeBron. You're not going to change history by yourself. The history of sports in general is not changing for you. Two things can be true. Barry Bonds can be the best baseball player I personally feel like I've ever seen. But there's no way I could put him at the top of the list of baseball players as the number one because he never won a World Series. And as great as Barry Bonds is, there is a team aspect to it that he never mastered. You got to take your team to the top somehow, some way. You got to get him over that hump. And sometimes it's not just about you. And as much as I love Barry Bonds, most of the time when people talk about him, they say it was very much about him. And in my opinion, that might have cost him. Still love him. But it might have cost him. Yes, it was about Mike. Yes, it was about Kareem. Yes, it was about Magic. Yes, it was about Kobe. Yes, it was about Tim Duncan. Yes, it was about Shaq. But those guys also realized that if we don't get the rest of this team to get on board and play their best, we're not going to win. And if they didn't realize that, the coaches they had realized that. So it is what it is, man. So we're not going to sit here and cry, and oh, the ring culture, it's so bad. No. And then to put the cherry on top of this and just end it, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The Thunder are 1 game away from winning the NBA Finals. And every interview that you see, and if you haven't seen it yet on my video, on the page, on this channel, there will be a video, because I don't know if I made that one yet. And I'm pretty sure I did. But about him talking about, and I know I did already, about him talking about what he's chasing. He always says what we're trying to do can't end here. What we're trying to do, what we're trying to be. He's talking about rings. He doesn't care about his stats. He's talking about the rings. We're trying to win a ring. We want to win. And then after we win one, we want to win another one. And after we win that one, we want to win another one. We want to be the next dynasty. We haven't seen a three-peat dynasty in over a decade since Kobe being Bryant. Now, yes, the Warriors almost did it, but also the Warriors were on a super team when they had KD. We haven't seen a non-super team since Kobe being Bryant. You know how hard that is to do? That's harder than scoring 50, 60, even 70. Winning is something you can't do by yourself, but also can rely heavily on what you do as the individual. Winning is the end-all, be-all. That is the goal of the game. And only a very select few people can do it at such a high level and consistently. And if you can do that, you are amongst the greatest. Anything less, your name should not be brought up in that conversation. And that just is what it is. That doesn't mean Charles Barkley's not great. That doesn't mean Allen Iverson's not great. That's not what that means. But what it means is, in the Pantheon, they're not at the top. Does that mean James Harden is a lot worse than Dwayne Wade? Absolutely not. But Dwayne Wade can sit at a table that James Harden cannot sit at right now. And that just is what it is. There has to be a standard. And he who wins the most is the standard. So you guys can sit here and act like, you can act like this is not what he's doing. He's clearly trying to change the narrative in his favor so that it fits one singular person. And he masks it by saying that, oh, Allen Iverson, Charles Barkley. Well, again, he doesn't even like Charles Barkley, so I don't know why he's mentioning him. At the end of the day, he's trying to mask it. He's trying to make it seem like this is not what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He's trying to get you to drop all your standards so that he can be risen to the top. And if you look at society, again, sports is always a microcosm of society. And LeBron James is one of the biggest perpetrators of nonsense that we have in our society today. And he has a lot of power. He has a lot of influence. But he uses it in a way that, in my opinion, doesn't necessarily help those, especially in the generation coming after him, that could not see the things that came before him. The guys that we really respected before LeBron James did not talk like this. They did not talk like this. They did not try to negate the winning and the quest for greatness of the players before them. And they didn't try to change the rules just because they couldn't match the standards. Now, Karl Malone, you may see him on a documentary and he'll say, like, Michael Jordan is just another person to me. Which he should. Shouldn't be idolizing people like that. They're not your God. But also, he's not going to sit here and make a case for, oh, well, you should love me more even though I didn't win. Because he knew what his goal was. His goal was to win. That's what everybody's goal was. So the guy that wins, get the bragging rights. That's how it goes. That has not changed since the beginning of time. There's a winner and there's a loser. And if you're one of those people in life that thinks that, oh, everybody just hugs each other all the time and kisses and kumbayas, that's not how it works. When somebody does a better job than you and they're much better than you at your job and you're expendable, you get fired and they keep the guy that's better. That's just how it works. If you don't think you're competing most of the days of your life, then you don't get it. That just is what it is. We live in a competitive world, in a competitive society. Most of us do. Even on a level of if you're in a country that doesn't even have a lot, that has more poverty. And I mean this respectfully. You're still competing on some level for something. You may be competing to get out of the poverty. Maybe there's a course that you can get, accepted to. There's an institute, whatever the case may be. I don't know. But you're competing. No one's going to come up to you and say, oh, you got the lower test scores? And that guy got really high test scores? You know what? You can keep striving for lower test scores. That's fine. We'll still give you the same benefits and perks as this guy over here. I live in America, and I don't know about a lot of other countries. I don't hear them talk about this as much, and I have traveled. But when it comes to credit report here in America, it's low-key your God. And I know that sounds crazy, but people look at your credit for everything here. And unless you're super wealthy and super rich, you have to play the credit game. And there's no real rhyme or reason to it sometimes. It's literally one of the most unfair systems in the world, in my opinion. But you got to play that game, because if you don't have good credit, they don't care about the next person's credit. It is a competition to have better and better credit so you can get more and more loans and opportunities. That's just how it is. You can't just be like, I'll just have a lower credit score and I'll get the same benefits and perks as the guy with the higher one. It's not how it works, man. So like I said, you be the judge, but at the end of the day, is it just me or is this guy tripping? And for those of you that listen to some of the other people out there, the Dreamers Pros, the Scap Attacks, for the most part, I know Scap Attack, to me, he's saying some things recently that are a little different than what I expected. But overall, he's going to be on LeBron James's behind. I know that. He's definitely going to be on him. Too Raw for TV. Some of these other people. Franchise Sports is another one I listen to. The other guy, what's his name? He's a Jordan guy, big time. His name's Robin. I forget what Robin's channel is at the moment. But you listen to these people, and there's other people out there too. They're going to keep it real. They're going to tell you the truth, man. That's not how this works. We don't lower standards. If anything, the standards, the more people can achieve certain things, then you raise the standard. And in terms of guys like Michael and Magic and Kareem, Bill Russell, Kobe, Duncan, nobody's beating those standards. There's nobody achieving those things easily because they're very, very difficult. So if that's the case, then the standard stays. We're not lowering the standard. This is sports. Everybody's not guaranteed a seat at the table. You earn that. And unfortunately, and especially in America, my country, it seems like less and less people have to earn things. They want to create narratives so that it's given to them. But that tells you what type of person they are. The hard worker versus the person that wants to underachieve and get the same benefits. LeBron James is the guy that wants to sit in the back of the classroom, get on the class project with the geniuses, and barely do any work. But because maybe he looks the part, maybe he's the best speaker in the group. He didn't do no work, but he knows how to speak better than everybody else. So he gives the presentation and people, oh man, he's so intelligent, but he didn't do no work. And unless you provide the context clues and you ask people on the team, you're not going to know, like, oh, this guy was just playing around. He's not really the smart person on the team. And that's LeBron James. I'm going to do the bare minimum. I'm going to create super teams. I'm going to run away. I'm going to try to manipulate the game. I'm going to manipulate the media. I'm going to manipulate the draft. I'm going to do it all the easy way. And then I'm going to gaslight people and use my narcissistic tendencies to say, hey, well, I don't know why people care about rings. Even though I did all this stuff to get them, it doesn't matter now. I was young and dumb. By the way, I am better than Michael Jordan and Magic and Kareem and Kobe and Tim Duncan and Shaq. I'm much better than all these guys. Because rings don't matter, right? Please. So with that said, thank you very much for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the channel. Make sure that you comment because I love to have conversations. Conversations with people in the comment section. Because guess what? Ball is life. And so we got to talk about it, man. We got to talk about it. Make sure that you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our great content. And lastly, make sure that you hang on towards the end of this video so you can check out some of our other great content. I truly appreciate you for listening this long. I'm very thankful, very appreciative. I'm very humble. Much love.